You are a part-time notary signing agent. What do you make right now working about 20 hours a week?
I make no less than 4,000 a month. For the first time in a very long time, if ever, I feel really proud of myself. I feel
If you're wondering if you can make great money part-time as a notary signing agent, you're going to want to watch this video. Hi there, I'm Mark Wills, America's largest signing agent coach, here with one of my amazing students, Shauntel, out in the great state of Virginia, who is a part-time signing agent, and she's going to tell you how much she makes. Shauntel, what's going on?
Mark, how are you?
I am so good. So, like all of these, you are inspirational. I can't wait to dive into this amazing, warm story of your signing agent business. But I want to get out the good stuff right now. You are a part-time notary signing agent. What do you make right now working about 20 hours a week?
I make no less than 4,000 a month.
When you say that, right? Like, I make $4,000, your own business. Like, what kind of
Yeah.
feelings do you have when you repeat that out loud?
For the first time in a very long time, if ever, I feel really proud of myself. It makes me feel proud. I used to struggle for reasons to feel proud, and this is definitely at the top of my list.
Oh, Shauntel, I am so proud of you as well.
Thank you,
You're
Mark.
going to tell everybody your story, but just to know where you were and where you are, it's incredible. I want to share this because too often, Shauntel, I tell these stories of like, oh, this signing agent made $12,000 a month. This one makes $100,000 a year, but you put the title of mom before anything. And so taking care of your daughter is precedent. And I say that because what makes this business amazing, it's whatever you need it to be. Right. You need it to be a source of income, but also provide you with the freedom to be with your daughter and do the things that are more important than money. Take us through your entire journey of being a signing agent, how we got here, and just kind of share your story.
So, like, I'm two-part. I started back in 2020, so I've been part-time, for the last 5 years. And just recently, I started revving the business up with a little more hours to get me to that 20 hours because out of the complete blue, my at the time very healthy 22-year-old fell ill, and it took me and her and my other daughter through, for me, the biggest scare of my life, and I've had some scares out of the blue. So with that being said, things were changing in my life quickly, and she was getting sicker and sicker without any help. No one could tell us, and this was after spending a lot of time in the and I practice not crying, so forgive me if I do. But this time last year, my daughter was on a walker. We were in a hospital for a lot of March, and then April, May, and June, she was pretty much bedridden. So in the midst of that, I still had to provide. And at that time, what I didn't know while being home with her is that although my job was protected, my income wasn't. So I wasn't getting paid. So I had the stress of doctors not being able to tell me what was wrong with my daughter. And I had the stress of how are we going to eat and where are we going to live if I can't pay my bills.
Well, first off, if you want to cry, I will cry with you. Okay. How is daughter doing today? Let me ask that first.
She is doing so much better. Like, I'm literally in awe at where we were this time last year and where we are now. She's doing so much better. She's doing better.
As a father, I can only imagine the thoughts, the sadness, the not being helpless feeling, at the moment that a mom would go through. And so I empathize, and you know, sh- you're an amazing mom to stop everything and be with her, and she's lucky to have you, Shauntel.
Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And so, getting back to the business side of this, right? It's crazy how your job was protected, but they didn't pay you. So let's talk about this. You were being a signing agent part-time for 4 years, right? So you were making part-time income great. Like you had a great full-time job. And let's talk about that a little bit, if we can take a little bit of a right turn, because I think a lot of signing agents or people who want to become a signing agent feel like, oh, this business is only for full-timers. Like if, but you had a classic 40-hour work week job, right? And you were doing signings evening and weekends. how many years were you just kind of being a part-time signing agent around a quote unquote a normal full-time job?
The entire time up until last year,
So three
so for
years.
almost 4, yeah.
So I want people to watch who are watching this to realize like you can be a perfectly happy, content part-time signing agent around a full-time job. Why didn't you ever go full time, to walk someone through that? Because you were obviously making money fairly consistently for 3 to 4 years.
I actually enjoyed what
Yeah.
I did at the moment. So that I had great benefits. I had been at the company at that time, maybe 15, 16 years. So I enjoyed what I did.
I want
And
people to hear that because, like, you can be a part time signing agent and love your full time job. We have so many students. I don't share those stories enough. I really should, by the way,
yeah,
because I think people feel this pressure of like, oh, you got to be full time. You got to be full time. And, you know, for 3 or 4 years, I mean, how much money were you averaging pretty consistently nights and weekends?
I would say 19, 2000, about 2000, an extra $2,000 a
For
month.
4 years straight, basically.
Yes.
4 years, she was only working nights and weekends around a full time job, making an extra $2,000. That's an extra $24,000 a year in part
Yeah.
time income. Like, everybody watching, like, don't get mesmerized by all these full timers because I'm mesmerized by you. At this business is great.
Right.
Now let's go back to that warm story of your daughter now coming on the other side. My guess is from what you're sharing is, you're like, okay, I have the signing agent to fall back on. I now need to increase my signings, but I can't increase them so much because I still need to be available for my daughter's care.
It's funny because she is actually the reason why I went back out because there was a part of me I didn't realize that felt guilty um living life when she was so sick. And I would see these signings coming in and nothing mattered, even though I needed the money as well. But just thinking about leaving when she's laid in the bed was an issue for me in the beginning. So, Mark, I'll tell you something. I was signing and I was a mess.
Mm.
What the signers didn't know at that time is that I was going through the hardest time of my life while I was sitting in their living room. And at one point, I wasn't sure what the rest of my life was going to look like
Mhm.
because, again, she was so sick, but nobody knew what it was. So I didn't know if she was going to get better. I didn't know how to help her get better. So I would be in these living rooms trying to hold it together for that appointment time and hurry up and get back home to make sure everything was okay with her.
Well, what I heard is the most selfless mom. I'm gonna start crying. But I also heard a professional, and a professional is somebody who can do the job in lieu of the outside things that are happening. And so, like, you should be proud of yourself. The fact that you could build, get income for your family, keep it together, but know your heart's with her, but the professionalism of your job still mattered. And to me, that's a beautiful thing as a businesswoman, is able to be a selfless mom, but still put together, be a professional for the clients that are requiring you to execute this, to be someone who's not falling apart because a family needs to move into their home, a family needs cash out to, pay their own bills. And so the fact that you were able to be a professional, I don't think should be overlooked. I think that's a testament to who you are, and a testament to who you are as a mom, feeling that guilt, but understanding that, like, I got to do both and I'm going to do both. And so again, this story is so, I'm like, oh, like Misty and I, like, it's so inspirational for numerous reasons. But what I heard, Shauntel, is a professional, and not everyone's able to have that level of professionalism. And you did in the hardest time of your life. And thank you for your vulnerability of just the guilt that you must have felt leaving. Um, as a new parent, my son's now 7, but no one tells you about parent guilt. Like, hey, parent guilt is real. And so
Yeah.
I can only imagine what that feels at the level of health concern that you had. And so, but the fact that you're able to do your job as a business owner and be a mom just says so much about you. Says so much about your strength, your courage, your resilience. Um, so just thank you for sharing that because I think that's incredible. It's family over money. I make enough to do what I need to do, pay bills, eat, etc. But being with my family and helping her get back to her normal is more important. And what are some of your favorite parts about being a signing agent with that being said?
Honestly, it's the flexibility would have to be at the top because if I was still doing my full-time job, as we know, people care, but they care about the work first. And
Mm,
I wouldn't have been able to say, well, hey, last night was a rough night. Can we move this meeting back a few hours?
right.
Whereas I know what the schedule is like and I can choose them as I see fit. So if it's been a few days where, she's under the weather and she's not being able to care for herself, then I know, hey, you need to slow it down, for the days and weeks to come. So just the opportunity to put her feeling better first and me being home and present first is what I needed and what I thank God for because I didn't always have that option.
Thank you for again for your vulnerability and sharing this. Is I think in between this, we haven't shared yet, they actually end up letting you go. Is that correct? Did I remember that correctly? So
That
your daughter gets sick, you have to take time off work, not paid. You go back to work even though she's sick. Then they let you go.
this is a crazy story, but 3 years when I first started, they let me go.
Mhm.
The department. So what happened is that built, I would say, some type of false ambition that made me want to always have a additional income because it was always a fear of mine because it
Yes.
was a good job, a secure job, but they let me go. So I just always felt like, what if it happens again? And oddly enough, 16 years later, it happened again. And not to sound dramatic, but again, if you never had a sick child, and then you never had a sick child where you're spending weeks in the hospital and you're seeing all types of specialists and nobody knows what's going on, you haven't felt the fear that I was feeling. So to be in that moment, and then on top of that, to lose the income that I've had consistently for the last past 19 years at this point, go away. I thought I would lose my mind. I may have lost my mind and just didn't notice.
Rightfully so, by the way. And so, you're now a year from that, what I would call probably the lowest of the moments. What allowed you to just keep going? And I say that as inspiration because, you could have easily thrown in the towel and nobody would have wronged you for that, but you didn't. You kept the professionalism, you kept going. And what helped you get through that? And I say that because there's probably somebody watching this who's going through their version of a low point. And so, what kind of helped you keep pushing and keep, because now you have a thriving business around what you need. And what was it that kind of helped you? What was the mindset? What was the mantras to maybe help someone else who's going through their moment?
Honestly, for me, and it's not going to be the same for everybody, but God,
Mm-hmm.
if it were not, if I were relying on my own strength, we wouldn't be able to have this interview.
Yeah.
My God and my children, I had to for them.
Mm-hmm.
I have a 17-year-old. She's in her senior year. So once again, crazy time. And prom and graduation and senior dues are all due at one time. So the only thing that kept me going was God and just building a deeper relationship because I had nothing else. I had nothing else.
If you can come out of this point in your life and have a thriving business, do you think anybody can and why?
I think 1000% anyone can because if I can do it at my lowest, then somebody can definitely do it at their best, even if their best is mediocre.
Mm.
if someone can do this at their lowest, then anyone can do this at their best.
You're incredible. Like incredible. And I hope, and what I loved about the opening is what you said is I can finally be proud of me. And I hope you are so proud of you because to hear your journey, and again, I'll say it again, there are so many reasons why it couldn't have gone a different way, but you chose not to. And there's power in that story, and there's power in your faith, and there's power in sharing it. So this, I'm proud of you. I can't say that enough. And hearing this, and this is what makes our community incredible. Is there's amazing humans like yourself everywhere. And just thank you for allowing me to share your story. So I asked you, where's the majority of your business coming from? Is it coming direct or is it coming from signing services?
I am 100% signing services.
Okay, everybody hear that. So for 5 straight years, 100% signing service. Okay, so just really quickly, for those who don't know what that means, is she works for quote unquote a middle person. The signing service gets the closing from the escrow or lender or realtor. They hire out a middle notary like Shauntel. Notary in the notary gets $100 to $110 per loan signing, and then the rest of the fee goes back to the signing service. So a lot of people watch my content and think I'm anti-signing service. I am not anti-signing service. I am pro-revenue. So speaking of pro-revenue, of the $4,000 you make a month, how much that is repeat clients calling you up to say, can you do another closing for me?
I would say at least 90%, maybe 92.
Okay, so I want to share that, Shauntel, because people believe that you can't build a consistent business through signing service, and that's just not true. So
Nope.
yeah, you did them, girl. And so my let's help them
Okay.
build what you've built.
Okay.
So what would you attribute your ability to get? I mean, you've been a part-time signing agent now for 5 years. This is not like a blip in the radar. Like
Right.
you are consistently getting repeat business from the exact same signing services. So walk people through kind of how you've built that.
The first thing is, and this is one of the things that I am proud about, I am a very good signing agent. So that's the easy part. You get the right training, you have the right mentors, you're going to be a good signing agent. But I would say the second part is I don't stay just a number behind the computer or the phone. I actually build relationships with the people who do call, who do the schedule. I'm emailing, I'm reaching out. If I'm telling them thank you just as much as they're saying it to me. We're sending, personal message. How was the weekend? So at this point, it's to the point where they literally call me weeks, sometimes a month and a half in advance and say, hey, we have a not difficult, but they'll come up with like a nice name for it. Yeah. Do you think you can handle this for us? And absolutely. And I think it's because they know, one, again, I'm going to do it correctly, but then they know me personally at this point.
I love you so much. Like your authenticity just screams, and I love it. And what you said was, I know I'm a good signing agent.
Yeah.
And it's beyond okay to say it. Like the confidence you have, I want other people to see because you should know you're good at your job and you should feel it. And by the way, like you said, the confidence comes from the training that you did. The confidence comes from you caring. The confidence comes from the reps. And so it's not this false arrogance. It's like, no, I put so much into my craft.
Yeah.
And I
Yes.
know the work I put into my craft. So therefore, I can confidently say I am good at what I do.
Yeah.
And I don't think enough people say that. So thank you for inspiring people because it's not arrogance. It is confidence. It is knowing I've put in the work and I deserve to say I'm good at what I do. And so when you have that total self-belief, like everything changes. So let's talk about the second thing though, which is relationships. I love what you said. I share personal things. How was your weekend? And you're getting to let people know the real you. And you can do that via email, text messages. It's not just in-person direct, but I think a lot of students feel like, oh, I can only create authentic relationships with direct business.
No, not
What
the
would you say
case.
to that?
That's not the case. I haven't met any of them actually,
Yeah,
but we're friends.
right.
If I haven't heard from them, let's say someone else has been doing their signing, but their name pop up, I'm like, hey, where have you been? And they're responding back with the same energy. Um, I just know I appreciate them for what they do because it takes in this business, there's so many moving parts and everybody has a huge part in it. So I appreciate what they do and I let them know that they appreciate what I do. So oftentimes we're exchanging emails, thank you, no, thank you. So I haven't met any of them. It will probably feel weird once I do.
Well, let's unpack that again because you said something that I think a lot of people need to hear in that you said we're friends.
Yeah.
Because the problem is a lot of people see business as this line of business relationship, personal relationship. No, it's just relationship. Like when you can cross that line into friendship is when everything changes. They match your energy. They look out for you. They give you 6
Yeah.
weeks advance notice.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
the way you've done that is organically, just like, how are you doing? Sharing things personally. And when you kind of open up vulnerably, they open up vulnerably. And that's when a real relationship arises. And so you're actively trying to create friendships with these signing service owners, schedulers. And you said 90% of your business is repeat business. So you are living proof that you can get a beautiful part-time business solely through signing services for the past 5 years. It wasn't just this blip. You've been doing it consistently. What an amazing conversation. Let's continue with, I always ask, you interviewees, if you can give one piece of advice
Yeah.
that would help a notary signing agent build their business from your perspective, what would that one piece of advice be?
Just one, because I have two.
Give me two. We got time, girl. Okay, we got two.
Okay. The first one I would say, you can use each appointment to build relationships
Mm.
because you never know who you're sitting across from.
What I'm hearing is someone who authentically tries to build relationships every turn of it's you're not turning it on and off. This
Yeah.
is who you are. You
Yeah.
understand it's part of your business.
Yeah.
And so whether it is a signer that I meet for 60 minutes, I'm still going to be authentically me. I'm going to try to create a real relationship in that 60 minutes. I'm not going to be a robot. Where I think a lot of signing agents come in and they try to get out of that appointment as quick as freaking possible.
Okay.
But like every step of the way, and now I know why you're so successful. You're just authentically building relationships. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of people need to hear that. You don't look at anybody as a means to an end. You look at someone as a real human and you look at someone as a real person and you're like, hey, let's jam, let's talk,
Yeah.
like let's
Yeah.
get to know each other. You're not just $100 to me.
Yes.
You're a
Yeah.
real person. This is a real moment. Like,
Yeah.
and what you just said was like, I try to build a relationship with every signer.
Yes.
And there's
Yeah.
so many notaries who don't. The signer, it's just a way to make money. It's not a
Yeah.
real moment.
You know what's funny, Mark?
Uh,
I actually honestly forgot about the money part in a sense because
yeah.
you just reminded me that we get paid. You would be surprised to know my favorite parts. If we had to do three in order, my first favorite part maybe is the flexibility, right? Because to make money on your own terms is amazing, right? And not everyone has that opportunity. My second favorite is the relationships I built because when I'm at these appointments, Mark, you could not tell me or them that we are not friends. And you would be surprised to know, I would say 30% of them, we keep in touch. We
Yeah.
keep it, I have a good time at these appointments. It even tricks me to believing I'm having fun.
Right.
It's almost, especially when I was going through that hard time with my daughter, I wasn't almost 2 years she was going through that. So for almost 2 years, I have been isolated from the real world.
Yeah.
So to get into these living rooms and to talk to these people, it would one take my mind off of it for that moment.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you would be surprised to know the amount of borrowers who did ask about my child, who in turn I did tell them the truth. And you don't know the amount of people who I've prayed with. You don't know the amount of people
hugs. We would leave and go, oh, I feel like, I want to give you a hug, they would say, or do you mind if I call you and we keep in touch? Like, I have a good time doing this. You just reminded me that we get paid.
You're making me cry.
You,
Like,
it,
what I hear is like just faith in humanity. Like,
yeah,
good people are good.
yes,
Like
yeah,
people are good. Like too
yeah,
often we try to find how we're different, and we try to find and like, and we're all just good people, and I'm gonna start crying. People are praying with you and
yes,
want to
yes,
see follow up with you. And like, I
yes,
don't think we enough give credit to just, if we're willing to be a little bit open and be authentic like you, and we can, you will be amazed at the goodness you'll receive.
yes,
And by the
yes.
way, I think that's a testament to you, Shauntel. Like, I think you are the light, and even in the darkest moments, you are still the light.
Thank you, Mark. That's huge to hear. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah. You're
Thank
so
you.
welcome. And that's what I'm hearing is someone whose light shines bright even when you think it's dim. And I think people need to hear this. Like, you don't need to be a robot at these signings. Like, you shared that you were having a bad day. And
Mm-hmm.
in return, you got kindness and you got
Mm-hmm.
warmth. And in
Mm-hmm.
return, you got a friend. You
Yeah.
said some of these people you're like calling you
Yeah.
back. And so I
Yes.
think what this story is just of a good human. That's you, just refusing to let life just dim her light. And that's why you're crushing it, man.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. You're
Thank
welcome. Like, I just want to give you a hug. I can't, but I'm giving you a hug.
you.
Guys, it's just such so amazing, this conversation. So you told me that you had two pieces of advice. So one was like, create real authentic relationships. You don't know who you're sitting across. Have those moments. What was do you remember the other piece of advice that you wanted to give?
I can wait. I can wait on that because that one, that's so important because you don't know where that relationship is going to lead you. So I don't want to overwhelm or that get lost in anything because you could be sitting across from a next major business move or your next best friend.
So good. Explain the business move.
I can
Yeah.
give you a good one. So maybe 2 weeks ago, I had a older couple. We are signing at a place, Panera,
Okay.
and I do a refinance for them. And they have their daughter across the room. And the father is really interested in what I'm doing.
Yeah.
He's really interested. And then he goes, so I tell him this is what I'm doing. And then I share with him, I work with signing services. I'm about to move into working with the real estate industry. And he goes, oh, you should have talked to my daughter. And by this time, she had already left out. He's write her name down. And he says, call her. She's a beast in the real estate industry. And I call her and I speak. I still hadn't looked her up on Instagram. We speak. Then I look her up on Instagram, and she is. Everyone that I follow in the real estate industry follows her. She hooks me up with someone. I call them, and they're about to build a title company in my county. And this just came from, like you said, authentic relationship, a personal relationship. And I did not know who his daughter was at the time.
Mm.
I was just being me and having that appointment, but it ended up turning into an interview because they went in turn told her how well I treated them. And he's like, when she calls you, she told me, she said, my dad said you were so great. When she calls you, give her what she wants. And what she gave me was a title officer who's opening
Yeah.
up a new business in my area. So you really never know who you're sitting across from.
Speaking of area, so you're in Virginia, right?
I
What part
am.
of Virginia are you in?
It's called Stafford County.
Okay.
I'm in the
How big
Stafford
is
County.
Stafford County?
It's not that big.
Well, I kind of assume that, but there's reason I asked that.
Uh-huh.
Right? You've been a part-time signing agent for 5 years.
Yeah.
And when you're working a full-time job, you're making $2,000 a month consistently.
Yeah.
But you're not in the middle of Miami, San Francisco,
Right.
Dallas, Chicago. You're in a suburb
Yeah.
in the middle of Virginia. Virginia's not the most populous state in America. But I want people to see, like, you could make this business if you're willing just to be a business owner.
Yeah.
Because all I've heard this entire conversation is a businesswoman. That's all I've
Thank
heard.
you. Thank
And
you.
I hear
Yeah.
someone who really wants to make authentic relationships all the way around, and you're not chasing the money, you're chasing relationships. I'm hearing somebody who is building this in, like you said, a small town in Virginia. I want everyone needs to watch this video 10 times because you're so inspirational. I mean, you could make more than $4,000 a month. It's like you're
I'm going
building,
to.
yeah, and so once the daughter gets back up,
Yes.
like it's just a beautiful story. So let's kind of wrap up the question I ask all the interviewees. And you've now been a signing agent for 5 years, right? And so as you look back on your journey, there had to be moments where you're like, oh man, if I could do it again, I would do it differently here, right? What is something, if you can whisper in the ear of a young signing agent 5 years ago, 4 years ago, that you wish you would do different, that maybe could have helped you scale quicker, become more efficient, et cetera?
Be ready, but don't wait until I actually feel ready.
Be ready, but don't wait until you feel ready.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Okay, I love that. Actually, it should be a T-shirt, girl. Um, okay, so but explain that to people. So, like, why would you whisper that? Were there times where you waited because you didn't feel ready? How did that hurt the growth of your business? Like, explain that so people can really sink their teeth into the saying.
You want to know what you're doing, right? But for me, there could be a thing of overlearning that I may have stepped into. I felt like, oh, let me just one more, a little bit more and a little bit more time.
I always tell the students is my overanalyzers make my best students, but they take the longest to scale
Yeah.
because they're always overthinking. If you can look back, right? And I'm only saying this to help the person who might be relating to what you just said, because you said it so perfectly. I was overstudying, I was overreading.
Mhm.
Was there maybe because there was some insecurity, you've never done this before?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And so what I'm hearing is once you start doing the business, you almost realize there was nothing to be insecure about.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Talk someone through that who might be in your shoes, because students watch this too, right? And
Okay.
so there's a lot of students who feel like they have to know every single answer to every single thing, and they overstudy, overread. Walk them through that.
There isn't a class or an appointment that's going to get you everything you need to know. Actually doing it is where you're going to become the better signing agent. So the quicker you get out there, the quicker you start seeing things, the more you're going to learn. So get your learning, get your teaching, but also get out there and start to see a lot of the real life things that's going to happen, and that'll help you be better faster.
To unpack that is, you wished you would have realized sooner that experience is your best teacher.
Absolutely.
You were almost avoiding experience, which meant you didn't have the learning curve in down quick enough. Like if you could do it all over again, I would just get out there and go, understanding that like it's in the reps that really makes me.
Absolutely.
Loan signing
Absolutely.
system gave you the foundation, but you needed real world experience to really blow up. And you would have resonated with that earlier. You could have made money quicker, is what I'm hearing.
Absolutely.
That's a good
Absolutely.
piece of advice.
Absolutely.
Kind of let's go to that insecurity thing, because I think a lot of students have it. Like, Mark, I don't have a college degree. Why would somebody who's making $800,000 loan take me serious? So there's a lot of these negative thoughts going through their minds. What would you tell them if they were having these thoughts that you used to have, so they can get through those thoughts and just out to the building the business?
Everyone has their own lane. And if you're comfortable in your lane, then it'll allow you to do what you do best, and that's these loan signings. So it doesn't matter who you're doing it for, they're going to be great at what they do. But when you're giving them their paperwork and you're going through this, you're the expert in what you're doing. So you can build the security in knowing you are the pro as a loan signing agent. They were the pro from their 9 to 5, but when they came home and you showed up in their living room, you're the pro.
They don't know loan docs, so they're looking for you or looking up to you in that moment because you're the expert. So have some comfort in that you're the expert in them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't want the conversation to end. This is like so freaking good. You know, to wrap up, like I just hear a mom who gets mom of the year. I hear a business owner who gets business owner of the year. I hear an authentic human who gets the humanitarian of the year award. Like that's what I hear. And it's a combination of all that that make you great. And what I love about what I hear also is you're stepping into your own. I'm proud
Yeah.
of myself. I know I'm a good signing agent. And to me, that's the other side, right?
Yes.
You know, someone who has his experience of traumas, you know, and I always tell people there's no such thing as a trauma of Olympics. We all have our stuff,
Mhm.
you know, and so, you know, it took me a lot of years to get on the other side where you are now. And I know how freeing that is. And so I'm happy for you,
Yeah.
right?
Thank you.
Knowing that like you can be proud of yourself. Like I did this. I am good at what I do. I'm a good mom. I'm a good business owner, right? And I'm just proud of you. I'm happy for you. Thank you for allowing me to share your story. So my advice to you is don't change. Just keep
Thank
doing
you.
what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
You're
Thank
so
you.
welcome.
And same to you. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. So that being said, girl, you have my feels going all conversation. Love you. I thank you.
Yeah.
And I'll see you at the top. Bye.
Absolutely.
I hope this story inspires you and lets you know what is possible around your full-time work schedule. If you're ready to make extra income part-time, working for your own self as a notary signing agent, then click the link below to get started today. And if you like this video, hit like and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next episode. And as always, make sure you subscribe to this channel for more content just like this. Let's go.